Welcome to Eagle Spire Gaming. I'm your host, Crown. Today is September 21st, and we are talking about the leaked footage, the rumor for the Adeptus Mechanicus battle box for Legions Imperialis. I have been saying since the beginning, I don't know if it might be in one of my videos, I can't remember if I actually used that part or if I cut it, that the next obvious choice for faction would be Adeptus Mechanicus, because you can go either Dark Mechanicum for the Traitors, or you can have just the Mechanicus for the Loyalist. It fits the style of, right now, the Space Marines and the Auxilia. They fight on both sides, whereas if the fourth and fifth choice for factions are going to be Demons and Custodes. They don't fight for either side. They're very specific to one or the other. So I've been thinking the Mechanicum would come out next. And just so I know it's on footage, just so I know that I've got a video saying this, so people can so you can quote me on this later when it finally does happen. Eventually, what'll happen is Orcs and Eldar. They'll be, much later, much later. But yeah, I didn't think Mechanicum was going to be this soon. I guess it's been about we're past a year from the point that the game was supposed to launch. If you recall, there was that major setback where nothing came out until, was it November or December of last year, of 2023. And maybe coming up on the year mark would have been appropriate, but I really wouldn't have expected Mechanicum to be out so soon. And I see things online, I see people say like, oh, the game really needs a third faction to mix things up. I don't know that it needs a third faction yet. I know that we want the third. Humans, we do not do well with patience and delayed gratification. It's just not in our nature. Probably led to the Horus Heresy, if you think about it. But need isn't maybe the right word. Want, we all want. But I really wasn't expecting it to come out this soon. And this photo, that you've probably seen it already, or if you haven't seen it already, here it is. One of two things: this is either a leak or it's a fake. And if it is a leak, it could mean that it's coming at some point. It could be soon. It's probably not too far out, but it's coming at some point. That's for sure. Probably, maybe within the next year, at most, max, tops, I don't know. They don't send this stuff to get printed out. They don't start making it. You don't want to make something too long before you start to sell it, because then you're holding on to it for a long time. You're taking up warehouse space. You've already paid the money. It's like paying for something in advance. You lose money doing that, typically, especially in something like this. It's better to focus efforts on things that are making you money now. So it'd be coming soon if it's real. I am no expert in proving whether or not this is real. I will say this, looking at the box, it has several of the things that it looks like it's a battle group. It looks like it's a battle group. I think it's harder to tell because this isn't the order I wanted to do this in. This isn't how I wanted to say this, but let's look at the units that are on this picture. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. So you've got the Tech Thrall Covenant. They are kind of everything's. If you don't know anything about these guys, this is the Mechanicum. They are like the machinists. They're robots. They use robots. They're cyborgs. They make all the things. They run the Forge Worlds. They make the Titans. They repair the Titans. They recover the Titans. And their role they get a little bit different from 40k to 30k. A lot happens to them in those 10,000 years. And they were a big part of leading up to the Great Crusade, because humanity had spread out throughout the stars, and they were still sent, the Tech Priests of Mars, they knew about these places that they had sent ships in the past, and they were still sending, they would send fleets out to go, and they wouldn't get messages, they wouldn't get anything back. They wouldn't necessarily get word that anything was being received, but they would send supplies and tools and equipment out. And they were still trying to keep communication. At least from what I've read, there's so much lore nowadays that I've fallen behind on it. But so the tech thralls are kind of, they're soft, squishy people, but with robotic bits and parts and nuts and bolts and screws put onto them. It wouldn't surprise me if their guns were wielded to their hands. And you look down at the bottom there, Archmagos. Those guys are in charge, and they can operate these guys. They basically send them orders through binary, through code. What do they call it? I think there's the New Sphere. I read about that in Titanicus. Novel that I read about Titans, and it's got Scutari and the Mechanicum in it too. How they operate is just very different than humans, than Space Marines or Auxiliary. So we look at those guys, and there's 10 of them, and my guess is that that's 2 detachments of 5, which is interesting because it's not how the either of the other Marines and Auxilia are 4s. Their infantry comes in 4s, and then you add 2, and that's either a unit of 5 or a very big unit of 10. And the reason I want to say it's not 10 because if that's coming from an infantry box, if this is a battle group, it's coming from an infantry box and their infantry box, and it would be, they gave you 2 of those base units, and then so the alternative is, if it is 10, then that means that the Thalix cohort, or maybe, probably the Thalix cohort is the second infantry squad, core group that you use in your detachments, or their detachments are just so much different that it's not even worth comparing apples to we're looking at apples compared to bricks. And I guess that's technically true. But if I were to guess and put it all together, I would say that the Tech Thrall Covenant, the Thalix cohort, and then maybe probably the Archmagos, or maybe the Tech Priest Auxilia as their leader type unit for the infantry box. And then maybe it also comes with the Ursex cohort. I'm picking that one just because it says cohort, just because it's that same size, roughly. I'm guessing that's their infantry box. And then you've got the support box would be the other little guys running around. Maybe one more thing. Maybe put the the Domitar Battle Automata Maniple. Either put that or the Alatrix. No, put both of those. Yeah, put both of those in the infantry box. The Alatrix Battle Automa and the Domitar Battle Automata. Those will both go in the infantry box. The support box would then be the Myrmidon Destructor host, the Myrmidon Secutor host, the other, either the Tech Priests or the Archmagos, depending on which one wasn't in the infantry box. The Castellix Battle Automata Maniple, and the Vorax Battle Automata Maniple. All of that is going to be your support box. And then you've got the 4 Tyros, Triros. The 4 tanks there. I think those are actually transports. Those are going to be a single box. That's going to be a box of 4. The Volatrax Traitors Automata Squadron. If you've ever wondered where blight drones come from, it's those guys. Those are massive, by the way. You know, they're so far away from the tech thralls, from the infantry guys, that it's harder to, it's not as easy to notice it. You know, it's next to all those big things. Those are probably gonna run like aircraft. They may not play like aircraft, but I'm saying they run like aircraft as far as box goes. And there's 2 of them in there. So those are like a Marauder bomber squadron. There's 2 in there. Or this isn't a battle group, or it's not built the same way as the current battle groups, and there's 4, maybe that's half a box and there's 4 of them. And then you got the 8 Thanatar Siege Automata Manipules. And that's like a box of Layman Russes. Although those things are massive. They look like a lot of parts compared to a Layman Russ. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But look at them. Those things are like knight sized. I haven't built my knights yet, so I don't know. But those things look like they're Questoris sized compared to those little infantry. I can't. There's not a lot of room in between that and a Warhound for you to really have, you know, a step in between. So I think those are knight sized. And you get 8 of them. These things are massive. A lot of guns on them and some fists too. And it looks like 2 of them have, you know, they got them split up 2 and 2 for weapon types. So they're very Land Raider. Have I been saying Land Raider? They're very Layman Russ in style, where you've got you've got 2 different loadouts for them. And I'm trying to think, was there a kit that had that you could only really build half and half? I don't think there is. No. Yeah, so it's definitely, to me, it looks like that's a battle group. You know, it's very battle group in size. Mix and match a few things. You know, maybe I got something wrong here or there, but I think that's about the spread of them for putting them together as far as the infantry box and the support box. I think I got it. Let me know. Let me know if you think, how you think this thing is going to shake down. If it's real. And here's my doubt. It doesn't look like, that does not look like this. The box, that looks like this section of the box. Let's come over here. That looks like this section of the box where, hey, here's the model and the name down below, right? And here's a list of all the things that are in this box. Here's the list of them, right? And in that picture I was just showing you, it's got all the models on here like this. They broke up a few of they don't have 4 Tauruses on it. They have Triaros. They don't have 4 of those transporty tank things. They have 1, and they wrote ×4, or 4 times, which is fine. That's not necessarily a smoking barrel, a smoking gun to say, look, you know, there's a Q. We figured it out. This is not real. It's just different than this, right? And maybe that's so that you can see, maybe they expect you to know what these things are. They expect you to know what these guys are a little bit better. So they put the name on. Maybe they changed that style. This was developed, you know, this box is, what was it, a month, 2 months old now? They didn't design this box. They didn't make this layout a week before it came out. Not even a month. They designed this box 3-6 months, maybe even a year in advance. So this other box is designed significantly later in, you know, the production of it, the design for it comes out a lot well after the production of this box. So maybe they changed styles in it, but it's not, I'm just pointing out it's not the style that they used for this box. And the style for this box is the same as the style for this box, right? They use, you know, the same thing. What else is missing from that box? We don't have any transfers. maybe the Mechanicum doesn't have transfers. I mean, looking at them, none of them, I don't really see where you could have a transfer. But at the same time, like, no, they're definitely using transfers on the Rhinos. And I don't know that they used any transfers on any of this stuff. Can't really see it on anything. Maybe they did. Do you use transfers? I tried using transfers back in like 3rd edition, and I was doing Space Marines, and I was putting transfers on the shoulder pads, and of course it's not shaped to go around that round edge, so it didn't ever, it always kind of came out bad, and I probably wasn't doing it right, and I was like 10, 12? I think it was like 12. So, I gave up on them. And they all rubbed off. I didn't protect them properly. They eventually came out. Because you know where when you're 12, you know where you pick up your Space Marines from? Shoulder pads. The rest of the box kind of, the edges there, it's got this bit, it's got this, It's all on this white marbly background. It's not, they put it and laid it out. So it's got a different style. I mean, it kind of looks like how you would have it if you were making a, like a magazine, like a brochure, like a pamphlet, like here's what we're selling kind of thing, kind of looks like that. But it's got this, it's got this going on. It's got it's got the barcode down here. This number is different. That number is different than what they got on the, it's shaped a little differently. Those numbers on the old one, they kind of crush in together a little bit at the end. It looks like, I don't know if it's the angle of the picture. It looks like it's 5 numbers. It looks like the last set of numbers is 5 numbers together, whereas this one is 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 3. I don't know if that's a clue. Oh, that's right. The roadmap. During the roadmap, I didn't watch the roadmap initially, or I did, and I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. But a lot of people, I remember, were discussing how the roadmap said that it was going to be years before we see anything other than Space Marines and Auxilia. So I went and I read that. I went and I watched it before making this video, and I took some notes. They mentioned, of course, you've probably heard this, but we start to remember it in our own wording after a while. But they say how when they get to the Legion stuff, they start talking about how anything for Age of Darkness will be made in Legion scale. So they've got many years to keep making things. I paraphrased that, by the way. They call out Mechanicum, Custodes, and Sisters of Scions. They don't mention demons. But, I mean, they'll probably make demons, right? Can't see why they wouldn't. And then I wrote this down word for word. It's a big job of work initially to fill out the Space Marine range and Solar Auxilia range. So that's what we will be doing for the next few years. That is where I think people are saying, or were saying, that Mechanicum would be years away. I don't think that line necessarily means no Mechanicum. We're only making Marines and Solar Auxiliary for the next few years. I remember, so people were saying, like, I remember up until this photo leaked, I remember people saying, I remember occasionally seeing, like, oh, it's going to be years before I can get Mechanicum. And that'd be true. This might be real. We'll still have to wait. If it is real, we'll still be waiting for it for a few months. Minimum. Christmas might be the earliest we see it. We're also still waiting on the Night Household battle group. I don't know if they call it a battle group. Night Household set, which has like a bunch of Questoris, a couple of Acostus, and a couple of Cerastus. And the other two, and we're still waiting on the Titan bot the Titan Maniple, which I think was a Warlord, a Reaver, and 2 Warhounds. We're still waiting on those. Those were mentioned a year ago, back when we were still waiting on this to launch. They probably showed their hand on a lot of things. You know, when you're expecting to launch something one day and then you find out that it's going to be delayed for months and months, you start to show your hand on other stuff, hoping to keep the masses tidied over for a while. But so yeah, if this is real, maybe December, maybe early next year, maybe later. So we're not going to know if it's real until it launches. And the only way we'll know it's real is we come back to this video and we look at that picture and we say, oh, look, it's the same as the one I'm holding in my hand. That's the only way you're going to know. If it looks different, I mean, that doesn't mean that maybe this is the prototype box. That could be all those differences I mentioned. Could just be because it's a prototype. You know, maybe they sent this thing out. I've never known anyone who has been a part of like their playtesting or anything, but I imagine when it's playtesting a whole new game or a whole new range of models, I imagine they send some of those models or something so that you can look at it and see it, and be able to put something together so that you can actually do the playtesting. So maybe that's what this is. Maybe it's a prototype box that's just used for the playtesting, and or maybe they send it in something a lot more dull and boring than this. I don't know. We'll also need a new book, and that will possibly come with new Marines and new auxiliary. It could just focus on these guys. We could get Book of Mars, and it's just them. Which my wallet would appreciate, because also my pile of gray, because if it's a battle group, that means it's a deal, and that means I need to get it so that I don't have to pay more for it later. So the best answer is I need to start. I need to get back to painting again and finish up those Malcadors. Finish Malcadors. Then do my transports. I should end this video and start painting. Let's do that. Yeah. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment. I appreciate it. Once again, I'm Crown. This has been Eagle Spire Gaming. Thanks for flying by.